Greetings, fellow citizens of Disneyland. Brickey here on the edge of Hollywoodland. It is a very, very busy day here at DCA. And what it sounds like, the upcoming restrictions, it's only gonna get busier. Let's get our designer walkthrough for spring 2021 going right now as we walk through and look at all the details of Hollywoodland, probably the most troubled land in all of DCA. I asked you guys yesterday what you wanted to see on top of the two old former elephant pedestals, and I enjoyed so many of your comments. And right before we get into Hollywoodland, I just want to share one thing with you, that Willie's Churros has set up shop here on the edge of Hollywoodland, which is interesting because Willie Churros had been set up forever during Touch of Disney, and before that over on the edge of the DCA hub. What used to sit here is one of my favorite outdoor vending carts, or I'll say it was my favorite outdoor vending cart. The old mid-century, like wrapped in steel, looked like something you might see in Central Park in Manhattan. That has been removed. I asked the cast member about it. They said that it's been taken off-site, that they're refurbishing it, and that they hope that it's back at some point, maybe July. All right, let's begin our walkthrough DCA Hollywoodland. Which is going to be a very interesting land for the next decade plus to come. How this sort of troubled part of DCA finds its home. I'm so grateful for this area. It did so much heavy lifting during the free DCA dates and Touch of Disney. But every fan would definitely agree that this part of the park, it has a way to go before it hits the same standard as every other part of DCA and the rest of the Disneyland Resort. If you ever want to kind of get a vibe on what this park looked like back in 2001 when it opened, Schmoozys is one of the last remaining original untouched buildings. This was the vibe of DCA 1.0, and as you can see, probably a pretty good thing that they moved away from this look. As we step in to look at the menu, it just has not aged very well whatsoever, which is cool that they left it here to give you an idea of where this park started, because as we look around, even Hollywoodland that is a bit troubled, it does have a nice vibe to it, a nice California vibe to it, which was the original IP of Disney's California Adventure. But it could go way further. What I'm excited to do right now is I'm excited as of right this second. I am further than I have ever been in 2021 inside of Disney's California Adventure, because as you remember, there was a rope that was going from here across, which was our barrier, making it as far as we could go. And that was even true during Touch of Disney. Oh, it's a windy day. That was even true during Touch of Disney, where they were purposefully keeping us away from the edge of Marvel's Avengers Campus, which will be opening up on June 4th. Obviously, once they allow people to go this far, you can see Avengers Campus, and I'm sure they needed just an extra bit of time to get all the details and finesse together. Technically, part of Hollywoodland, yeah, this is a lot of wind, I apologize. Technically, a part of Hollywoodland, you can see that the Hyperion Theater overflow has been rethemed as part of Avengers Campus. If we look up here, you can see all the banners. I'm going to stop here because coming up Friday, as a preview for our Avengers Campus week that's coming up next week on the channel, this Friday we do a designer walkthrough of what we can see so far for Avengers Campus. And there's a lot accessible. So coming Friday, our first look at what's available of Avengers Campus, and then we will officially, a week later, have a new land, and I'll be here live that day. So if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and ring the bell, because every single time I come to the resort, I always do a live stream so that I can provide you with a window into the magic. All right, let's keep exploring parts of DCA that we just haven't been able to see for quite some time. Like coming up here to the edge of the faux facade for the Hyperion Theater. Being able to come over to the edge where you can see how this vantage point of forced perspective really works, even to the point where the sidewalk is graded up to make that magic trick happen. You can see, as a cast member, a security guard actually pointed out to me when I was sitting on a very sad and lonely night out over in there on a bench, that some of these details are actually flipped in the wrong direction for how they actually appear on Sunset Boulevard. As you can see, as I'm bobbing and weaving, the crowds are back. And this is the quiet spot of DCA. This is the land that's not hustling and bustling, because it does offer the least amount of new, or shall I say, fulfilling attractions. But you have to love that detail. Welcome back. You were missed. I'll say that right back at you, Hollywoodland. This far edge was greatly missed. Even though you could be inside of Hollywoodland, you could not make it back this far. And it just feels good to have all of DCA back. And soon we'll have even more as the Avengers Campus area reopens. But man, look at that facade. I love all that extra work that they put into the facades here. All right, let's head into the back corner of Hollywood Studios, an area that was forbidden to us for the last little bit. You can see where they were doing the superheroes meet and greet, that this area has once again transformed into a dining area. And if you look over at the wall there, you can see a Shepard Fairey ripoff of Iron Man. Very interesting move. And you can see a shout out to Stan Lee. Which is a fun little detail. And then this photo set here, this was something that just casually appeared during Touch of Disney to promote Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And it has now been moved over to this edge of Hollywood Studios, where that was where the Captain America shield had been residing for a do-it-yourself photo op. Once again, this far end of the land had been, hey, what's up, bud? Had been off guard, off limits to us. But as we come back here to where they have made more makeshift dining, you can see the Captain Marvel meet and greet. I switched over to dining, but the whole facade of meeting Captain Marvel here is still in play. But we can actually walk up to it, which is something that we weren't able to do without waiting in line to meet her. You can see her chest insignia on these crates. You can also see that we have a hidden speaker, several speakers inside of the jet turbine. And as we come around the front of this, I guess it's like an F-16, we see this Fonzie lunchbox. That is a great, great little detail. Fantastic little detail. And then let's cruise over to where the Black Panther meet and greet. How you doing?
How you doing, man?
The Black Panther meet and greet where you can meet both Black Panther and members of the Dora Milaje. Obviously they have it backed off, but you can see sort of that very Marvel, hard angles, very, you know, geometric shapes, you know, to try to push that sci-fi meets superhero design to us. You know, those hard edges just says to us that it's different than our world and creates a little bit of that comic book superhero vibe. My curiosity is going to be, once Avengers Campus opens up and the rooftops over there are all designed for doing stunts and providing really interactive times to see the superheroes do what they do, will Hollywoodland let go of its hold that it has with Avengers? Will they still have superhero stuff over here? Because quite honestly, if we remove the superhero aspect of Hollywoodland, what else does it have? And I ask you this, when you think about what brands aren't represented at the Disneyland Resort, once Avengers Campus comes in, pretty much every major arm of the company is represented at the parks. You have Pixar, obviously you have Disney, you have Star Wars Galaxy's Edge for Star Wars, and soon you will have Avengers Campus to represent Avengers and Marvel, which is one of the biggest earnings of the entire corporation. Hi, Cap. So you can see they've moved Captain America and some of the Avengers over to the stage that they have all illuminated. So I have a very natural curiosity. What becomes look at Cap just handing somebody flowers. What a moment. What a moment to catch. But what becomes of this area? Will they still have superheroes over here? And if not, what would one do with this land? Because if you remember, and this is where Disneyland Forward gets very, very interesting, the idea originally was build a second parking garage over on the eastern side of the resort. Now, there was a little skirmish about taking guests over harbor and how that would impact the local businesses, so it didn't go through. But in that particular plan, one of the ideas were that if people were parking over on the eastern side, that the buses would also pick people up and drop them off over on the eastern side, therefore allowing the space right behind us to become accessible for taking DCA and pushing its boundaries out over to where the bus pickup is, which is pretty big of a footprint, probably more than what you think. So if Disneyland Forward gets approved and Disney is allowed to have multi-use for their land that they own, if this land were to grow more in the direction of Disneyland and have a larger footprint, what properties do you use it for? Because, as I said earlier, we already know that pretty much everything is covered. Everything has a representation inside of the parks. So with more land and the ability to tell more stories, what story would you tell? Here you can see, if you remember, this was the backlot premiere shop during the pandemic times. It looks like it has since gone away, which makes me curious. If Studio 17 is no longer the backlot premiere shop from DCA, then that must mean that it is the backlot premiere shop entering from the Esplanade. Because Saturday, May 29th, you will be able to get those extensions for your arm for the new Web Slingers attraction, where you will be able for $30 to get just the base extension for your arm, and then you'll be able to pick currently up to 4 different characters that you can add on top, which will give you the ability, I mean, for free on Web Slingers, you can still enjoy the attraction, and you can just do this where the computer realizes your hand gesture and creates the effect of you web slinging. However, once that bracelet or cuff is added onto your wrist, it would give you the ability, if you chose Iron Man, to do this and actually shoot lasers out of your hand. That opens up Saturday, May 29th. So I'm curious, will that only be available outside of the park? It was a little interesting how the press release was written, but it would make sense that they would let everybody have an ability to buy those ahead of the park having the grand opening for Avengers Campus on the 4th of June, giving people the ability to go ahead and buy those early. So on opening day, you don't have to get stuck in a massive line over at Web Slingers to then stand in a separate line to actually do the attraction. Or I guess I should say Web, right? That's the store. We can see that this outer area that had been used for a photo shot for WandaVision has been opened up, as well as the garage bay doors. You can see that nice Art Deco detailing back there, which once again gives a little bit of life back here. But this is a very, very generous footprint. Curious to me what the plan was to take Bugs Land and transfer that into Avengers Campus versus the area that we were just on. And now the music transitions from superhero soundtrack to old Hollywood, and we are back on the main thoroughfare of Hollywood Land as we work our way back up to the edge. And you can see, and I'm sure you can hear, it's a very windy day here. A lot of people lined up. And I apologize if the wind is a problem. Due to my schedule, I have to do all the vocals live in the park this week. Flushing's still closed. But you can see there's a decent amount of people back here, but this is the quiet spot of DCA, as most folks are probably just on their way to go do Guardians, another portion, Monsters, and then that third tier people probably just to grab a bite to eat or just to walk around and take a look-see like we did. All right, friends, thank you so much for taking a walk around Hollywood Land with me. I hope you enjoyed this detailed look. Didn't look at a ton of history or design details because I'm very, very curious on how Disneyland Forward will shape this section of the park. And I'm also very curious to see what will happen with Avengers Campus opening. Will that take the superhero aspect out of Hollywood Land, or will it keep it in there? My dream is that eventually Avengers Campus would grow in this direction, because the Marvel Universe is a rich universe with all kinds of stories, all kinds of characters, and many of them very, very much lend themselves to the theme park attractions and storytelling that Disneyland does better than anyone else. Tell me, is there a property that I'm missing that should go into Hollywood Land? Do you have a better use for it than I do? I would love to know your opinions, as well as any comments or thumbs up you can give this video. It would greatly, greatly help out. Friends, thank you so much to everyone over at Club 1313 for making the video possible. And to everyone out there, until the next time I see you strolling past the new outer edge of Hollywood Land, I'll see you real soon back here on the channel with more Disneyland news. Thank you so much for watching.